in my journey, I always wish there was someone who I could identify with and who was honest with me and who was just real. Hello beautiful people! In this video, I want to talk more about who I am and more about my story so that you get to know me better. I am so happy to be here today with my beautiful crystals, which I am so thankful for, and they're charging now in this wonderful, I forgot the name of this thing, but I'm so happy with that. And before we start, I want to show you my new top, which I'm so happy with, and also the bag. You need to see that before we start. Look at this. This is so cute. It's a bow. Like, I love bows. And now I have a bow in my bag. Oh my God. So that being said, let's talk more about who I am and my story so that you get to know me better. My name is Lotte, and my purpose in life is to help you understand who you truly are, to love yourself, and to truly know your self-worth. And these are things that it sounds very simple, and in the end it is very simple. However, it's a journey, an inside journey, which I am taking you with me, and I am doing that through several things, several companies, a very big vision, and I love doing that. But let's talk more about who I am as a person and more about my story, where I come from, so that you understand me a little bit better. Now, where should I start? I am born in the Netherlands. That's where I currently am right now. I'm in Amsterdam, in one of my favorite hotels, where my journey in helping women sort of also started, because I started my company YFJ in London, and then I frequently worked at the W Hotel at the Leicester Square, and there I filmed my videos like I am doing today. But then it was about how to find your internship at Christian Dior, and it was still in Dutch, by the way, when I recorded that video. It's currently not on my YouTube channel, but maybe I should upload it again so that you could really see like how I started. Now, that being said, I grew up in a family, a quite normal family, let's say. However, of course, we have all our perspectives on how we grew up. And in the last couple of 2 years, I went through a healing journey, and I have not been active online. So you could see that online. And I truly worked on myself and my traumas, also my childhood traumas. So how I would describe my my time as a girl, how I would describe that is I grew up feeling like I didn't feel good enough, I didn't fit in, I was my family like didn't have the money for the things that I truly wanted, so I was always like looking outside of me, of other people, and feeling like I looked more up to people, you could say it like that. So, you know, when I saw, other girls in my classroom and they had specific clothes, because from a very young age I have loved fashion, and I saw other girls with specific clothes, I was always like, oh my God, you have clothes with brands. And, you know, my mom got me clothes, mainly at stores, second-hand clothes. And, you know, those girls in my classroom, they had all those new clothes, and like I was always like so amazed at that, and I was always like looking up to them. And I have always loved from a very young age fashion and tea. I grew up in a small town in the Netherlands, and I remember that I had in my little room, I bought those tea sets. And I also bought them at the second-hand store, but I love them, and I also always bought those ones with like the golden details and the roses. I also love gold and I love roses. Roses are my favorite flower, and they're also on here, which I adore. But that's more about my, like when I was younger, like between like 4 and 12 or so. And after 12 I got bullied a lot. I grew up in a normal family, I must say, so we can all have different perspectives, right? We could say that we grew up without having money. However, my parents did have money to just buy me the necessary things. Like I had food, I had a roof above my head. My parents could bring me, you know, with a car to my school. However, you come with a perspective on the world, and I truly felt that I, you know, did not have enough. However, when you compare the situation to a purpose of mine is to truly help women without having the right rights in countries as Africa. And these people have almost no drinking water or normal food. That is completely different than the situation I grew up. I grew up with food, I grew up with all of these things. However, there were certain things that truly were difficult for me. So after the age of 12, I got bullied a lot. And, you know, I truly felt like an outsider. And following the path of fashion, I decided to go to a bachelor school, and in that school I studied fashion business, and it was a private school. And how I could afford that is by taking a loan, and my parents did not agree with me because they were scared, and they truly were very scared about it. However, in the Netherlands you have the ability to take a loan so that you can study, and you can also take a loan for a private study. So I did that. I studied a bachelor degree in Bachelor of Business Administration, I believe, in fashion. Okay, I graduated, but I graduated a little bit delayed because I wanted to have my internship at Christian Dior Couture. However, before that, I already got inspired by the world of luxury, and I was always, you know, wanting to be the best version of myself. You know, when I was also younger, 18, 17, it was that age, 19, like that. So while everyone was, you know, partying and all the things, I went to the gym. I was quite dedicated to my mood boards, and that time we didn't even have Instagram, I believe, so it was a whole different world. And I started working, you know, at luxury stores. I worked for Valentino Garavani, Bottega Veneta. I also worked for Prada and for Christian Dior Couture. Now, I got hired for Christian Dior Couture after more than 100 rejections, and I felt so not good enough. I felt like miserable to get hired at Christian Dior Couture, because if you might have seen some other YouTube videos about me, I love Christian Dior and Christian Dior Couture because it's touching my heart. It's touching my heart in a way that I feel it's destiny for me, that he inspires me. It's destiny for me to follow his wisdom and follow his care and his love for women. And the story that inspired me the most about Christian Dior Couture is the story that he grew up in a family where his art was not appreciated in a way where he was allowed to follow his passion for fashion. His father was actually a diplomat, and however, when he started to follow his dream later in his life, but he worked for several other designers, big houses. He worked as a designer for other big houses, but once he was in Paris. And Christian Dior, he loved London like me. When I was 21, I moved to London from the Netherlands, but he loved the UK. And actually what happened is he walked in Paris, and in front of the British embassy, he found on the ground this little star. And he picked up the star, and the star was for him the sign to start his own couture house. So Christian Dior himself was actually quite a spiritual person, which I love because he believed in science. And that was for him the sign to start his own couture house, Christian Dior Couture. And so that story inspired me to, first of all, work for Christian Dior, and secondly, start my own company to help women after quitting my dream job at Christian Dior Couture when I was 22, 23. 22, I quit my dream job and started my company. My birthday is February 11. That's actually in 2 or 3 days now. But that's the story that inspires me the most about Christian Dior, and my love for the house really comes from the care for women, doing things from your heart, doing things to make other women feel loved. That's really like what I'm super passionate about. And my care for women goes really, really deep. It goes really deep in my heart, in my soul, in my... I can cry right now, to be honest, because I care about it so much, and I'm just so blessed. I am just so blessed that I can do this work and I can make these videos again. And my journey has been really difficult for the last 2 years, and sometimes I underestimate that a little bit. Now I am back, and I did not expect to cry in this video, but I just care so much. And when you watch this video, I just hope you feel that. Okay, one moment. So, I care so much because of all the things I went through myself, and I am a quite sensitive person, so I can also feel the pain of other women, and this really makes me resilient and unstoppable for all of you. And sharing my story is for me a way to really make you feel seen, and to really make you feel like you are not alone. Because in my journey, I always wished there was someone who I could identify with and who was honest with me and who was just real. But I could never find her, and you know, especially in the fashion industry, in the luxury fashion industry, is an industry where there is a lot of ego. There is a lot of people who think that we are separate from each other, and we are not. And that's not true. So yeah, especially in the fashion industry, there is a lot of ego, and people act like we are separate from each other. One is better than the other, and that's not true, because we are all one. And you know, having worked for all these amazing luxury houses, I really thought, like, because I come from a small town, I do not have rich parents, I thought I was ugly, and all of these reasons that I thought I did not, you know, deserve to work for these luxury houses. And I worked really, really hard to get in those luxury houses. And because of the pain that I went through myself, I decided to quit my dream job at Christian Dior Couture in London. And how did I get in London? I got in London because I got that loan from my country that I used for my university, for the private one. However, I got a little bit more, and I saved all of that money. I saved that so I could have that money, and I actually used that money to rent a place in London, because my parents were not able to afford that for me. However, because of that loan, I got that. So I was so lucky. So I used that, and that's how I got in London. And in my internship at Christian Dior, of course, you also get paid. Now, because it was an internship, I could actually have more responsibilities, which I was super, super happy with. I'm still super blessed with that today, because I did research for Christian Dior Couture, how to improve their internal application and how to increase customer loyalty for that. So that was really amazing, and I learned so much. And at the end of my internship, they actually offered me a headquarters position. And I remember vividly that my manager asked me, are you 100% sure you're going to do this? Because truly, you have so much potential. And I said, Yes, but at that moment I did not know like what I was actually doing. I truly believe in higher powers, and I described it at that time as higher powers. However, I quit. I did not know where my next money was coming from, and I quit my dream job at Christian Dior Couture in London in January, February 2020, just before COVID. And I was like, I'm going to start my company, Your Fashion Job. And you know, that started already in 2019, 2018, somewhere. I created an Instagram account. It was 2019, December, November. I created an Instagram account and I started to post, you know, these little posts in the branding, which I'm still using today because I'm super, I would say clairvoyant, but that's actually true about branding, you know. So I created everything black and white with gold, with the specific fonts that we are still using today. In 2019, I started that about women empowerment and specifically about, you know, truly being successful as a woman, but in a very specific way. Because, you know, working for luxury houses, you need to be the best in the world. So I was always focusing on that, and I love that. Now, so I was doing that, I was creating these posts, I created already a community. At that time I was no idea what I was doing and no one was doing that online. So I was just following my intuition. You know, before I went to Dior in London, I sat and I used some of my money to purchase a coffee at Chiltern Firehouse, and my colleagues never understood how I could afford these things, but I didn't go out, I didn't get drinks and all these things, so I paid, you know, what they paid for drinks, I paid for my coffee, and I sat down in this luxury hotel. It made me feel so good, and I started working on my company early in the morning before I went to Dior. So I already did the work. Like, looking back, I see, oh, this is how that girl did that, you know. But when I quit my dream job at Dior, I was like, you know what, I can also do nanny work before I, you know, if something goes wrong with my company, you know, then I can do nanny work in London if something goes wrong. But then COVID hit, so I could not do nanny work anymore, and I did not have any other option than making my company work. And I was just 23, I just turned 23. I actually started when I was 22. So I was like, okay, now. And then I started doing live sessions, you know, I followed my intuition and started doing live sessions about luxury, about how to get hired for a luxury house, about strategies on how you can get hired for a luxury house, and what internal strategies of what luxury houses are looking for. And I started doing lives with music, with meditation, and everyone loved it. And I started doing coaching. And then the story is a bit tricky, because at one point I had 80 clients dealing with myself, and I started, you know, asking 15 euros per hour. Oh my god. But I increased that, but it was very scary for me because my self-worth was very low. You can imagine, you know, you are teaching women how to get hired for luxury house and you ask 15 euros per hour. So, you know, I started asking 15 euros per hour, then I went to 30, I was up 20 or 25, you know, and then I went up, but I had 80 clients. At one point I asked maybe, you know, 50 euros per hour or something. Was a lot for me. And I actually was working way too hard, because I tend to give up myself for other people. That's something I worked on in the last 2 years. So I recognize the pattern right now. However, at that age, I was not aware. So I actually got a liver infection and I landed in the hospital in Westminster in London. And it was truly a disaster. It was very difficult. I didn't know at that time that, you know, the hospitals in London, that the quality is extremely low, and they left me alone in the middle of the night, you know, with the liver infection. They forgot me. My arms were like blue from all the checking of the blood. They did the needle in the wrong place, like, oh my god. And so that was really the sign for me. I need to change something here, because if I continue working this hard, then I don't know, like, it's not going to take a long time, and my health this is not good. So I went to the Netherlands for some healthcare when it was allowed while with COVID. I went back to London, I changed my business approach, and I started asking higher prices, which was so scary to me. But people just bought it, and I was like, whoa, how is this ever possible? Because I am just doing something, and I started, asking per client like 2K from that little price, 50 euros per hour. But the women from those amazing universities like Institut Marconi, like the best fashion schools in the world, were my clients, and oftentimes their parents, paid YFJ, me at that time, one person, just me, for the services. And I also spoke at the best fashion schools in the world. I managed to do that at several, universities, including IFA Paris, and a school in Grenoble, like École de Management. So my first company, YFJ, grew truly from me being online, making videos, helping people with their self-worth, their self-love, teaching luxury strategies from internally, from the luxury houses. And it grew faster than I could ever imagine. So then I had that course, and then we created a whole course with 10 modules and so many videos and workbooks, and that was called the Exceptional Training Program of YFJ. And that one, with that specific course, and myself and the coaches that I coached, and later also the clients that got hired became our coaches inside. So we had a whole team, and that was truly amazing. And we got our clients hired from nearly each luxury house at LVMH in Korea in total 2.5 years. So that was insane. Truly, it's just exploded. And also, the reels and everything that we made, went viral, and it was just, and at one point we had 400 DMs per day, and we had no clue how we could handle everything. It was just like insane. And then I also started another company, because at that point I started to understand entrepreneurship, and I actually started helping founders attract luxury customers and focus, on helping them increasing their prices, increase their self-worth. And I was dealing with 2 companies. So, and the second company was very natural to me, because I had, people in my network who were founders, so I could help them and charge them. Oh yeah, and also, in the meantime, I think before I quit my job, no, a little bit earlier, I think somewhere 2019, October 2019 somewhere, one of my friends in my network, she asked me, I am looking for a flatmate in London, and I'm looking at houses, do you want to join me? And I was like, oh my god, this is a dream coming true for me, because I lived in a very, very small flat next to Regent's Park, and it was really small. I had to lift up my bed to open my fridge, and I felt really, it was very difficult for me. But then we moved together to Knightsbridge, because we would actually split the rent, so it was amazing for me. And I felt so much gratitude for that specific house, that my friend said, I want to move, I want to have a better house. I was like, what? We just moved in this house. And then, now I see this, I manifested this. Together with her, we moved to my dream house in London. It was beautiful. And this house was in Chelsea, and when you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that house, with the terrace, and it was so stunning. Everything is so stunning. At one point she wanted to leave, and I was then already a founder, and I had my company YFJ, so I could actually afford to rent that house by myself. And that was truly the dream for me. The universe is so smart. I was like, whoa, I have this house with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms above, this terrace outside in the middle of Chelsea, and I was just 23, and I was like, what? I did this, I come from, a very small town, how did I do that? Now, I did it, and it's so stunning. And then, I am someone who goes quite quick, I get bored quite easily. In the beginning of 2022, I was like, you know what? I really want to go to Dubai. I want to move to Dubai. And so I left that dream house with pain in my heart and I moved to Dubai. Now in 2022, so many things happened, like I can make a whole other video about this. But what can I say? I made another video and we can put it like here above or in the description below about my spiritual healing journey, which took 2 years, and that took from, you know, 2022, actually end of 2022 to the beginning of 2025. So, but when I moved to Dubai in the beginning, now in May 2022, like I started really like being a more next level version of myself. I truly started to see my worth in a different way. And then I had YFJ and my company that was operating under my personal brand, so under Lotte Pongers, and I started working with these bigger deals. And that really made me be badass in a way, because I was like, you know what, I can, you know, charge this amount, I can charge this amount, but then, you know, YFJ was at one point, we increased it to 12K. It was the exceptional training program of YFJ, because my time was in there, and the value of my time started to go up as I had this other company. So YFJ started being way more exclusive, which I loved too, but it was because of the personal time of me and the coaches in there, specifically of me, because I was also working on that other company with attracting luxury customers and spiritual healing. Now, to give you a bit of perspective on how it is possible that I increased my price in such a short time, because I did from 12K to 500K in 5 months. I have also dealt with $1 million deals. However, that was more for a shorter period of time, as that time I was really actually already going into my burnout and I needed to scale everything down. But how that went is, I was in Dubai, and in Dubai it really gets to like a new frequency of like wealth, possibilities. You see the world in a different way. In London, of course, you also have that. However, in Dubai it really did something with me, and I started living in hotels. So I lived at several hotels. However, at one point I moved to Waldorf Astoria, and I've lived there for the longest time. I started working with an energy healer there. And yeah, for that story, for my healing story, you can truly go back to that video about, you know, my healing journey. Because I prefer to talk in this video about positive things, and that healing journey is something that was really a darker page in my story, which truly needed, because yeah, I had several times in my life that I truly gave up myself for others because I went so far. And yeah, you've seen how emotional I get when I talk about how much I care for women. And you know, that led me to doing things that I truly forgot about myself, and truly worked so hard for other women that I did not, you know, care for myself. And yeah, that's also how we got all those women hired for all these luxury houses. Because from till the date of today, like when I say we managed to get our clients hired for nearly each luxury house in LVMH in Korea, for me that's actually normal. I think like, yeah, duh. But I don't know any other like fashion school in the world who did that. And I actually still think like, whoa, like that's actually insane. And you know, I actually met one of you, Milo. I met you at Celine like last week in the PC. And he followed me for a very long time. He met me. He said, oh, I know you from Instagram. And he said, oh yeah, you know, it looked so amazing. I love your stories. I love, you know, you were truly like blowing up and with all the reels and everything. And I said, yeah, but then that's just that's just like what you see, like when you are a viewer on the Instagram page. But actually what happened like in the world behind it, with all the women in the community and all the success, and that was like insane. Like the one after the other got hired. It was truly like, whoa, like mind blowing. And we did that, of course, with so many different strategies. And all these strategies I'm putting together now in a specific platform. like, of course, if I would tell you now what all these strategies are, I can talk for hours, because that the hours that are recorded for that course are like many. So because there are so many videos in there. But yeah, it's just whoa. Then I really think like, this is so amazing. All these women are so successful. Like, they're like from Singapore to Paris to New York. Like, they're literally everywhere. Like Tiffany and Co, Cartier, Prada, Tom Brown, Dior Parfum. Like, oh my god, it's still blowing my mind that we truly did that. And then also, you know, with these bigger deals and bigger customers, like those luxury customers, those deals that I truly, you know, did that from 12K, then I did 20K, 25, then I went to 40K, closing those deals. It's not about the money, but it's more like about attracting these things, because, you know, working for a luxury house is truly something like, whoa, can I do that? Like, if I have done that, then I really am one of the best in the world, because I'm working for the biggest luxury house in the world. And with those deals, like, you know, with those bigger deals, I really wanted to do the same. I was like, you know what? I have never heard of a girl of 25 closing $500,000 deals and closing $1 million deals. I want to be that girl, and I did that. You know what? However, that are things that I did, and I am so much more than the things that I do, and you are also so much more than the things that you do. You are a woman, you are a beautiful being, and we should appreciate ourselves for truly who we are. And who we are just from our care, just from our heart, and just for who we are when we do nothing, because that's so powerful. And yeah, that's more about me and my companies and what I did and what I do. However, I think I will make another video about what I'm doing currently and what I'm building. I will just summarize it for you. I am building a new revolutionary luxury group in luxury holistic healing. And you can see it like a luxury group like LVMH. That is a group, an umbrella group with companies that are in the group. With me, that is called the House of Lotte Pongers, is the group, and below that group there are several companies. The first company that is below the House of Lotte Pongers is the Luxury Holistic Healing Platform. It's a platform where you will be able to log in and heal yourself from the inside out. It's all about trauma healing. It's about healing the body, healing your relationships, healing your love, healing your self-worth, and attracting anything that you desire in a very luxurious manner. You will be able to log in, and a login based on your specific desire or specific problem that you would like to solve. That's the Luxury Holistic Healing Platform. Then there will be also a ready-to-wear line, a couture line, a production company, a documentary. Also there will be hotels from Lotte Pongers. That's all about healing and luxury healing, and so many other things which I would love to tell you more about. I am also singing, and I am super passionate about that. I am writing an album, which I am just thrilled about. Everything is with the intention to make you feel seen, to make you feel loved, and to make you feel you are never alone, and you are so powerful. You are such a beautiful being, and it's so important that you see yourself and know that you are so loved, because I love you so much. And I'm just so thrilled to be in this journey together. And it was so nice to tell you more about myself, so that you understand me and my story and my journey a little bit better. And yeah, I'm sending you so much love, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye bye. Bisous.